All right, you are listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Email, as always, well, ever since we changed our email address, todd@toddhuffshow.com, facebook.com/Todd Huff Show for those that want to watch the program live or on demand. It is good to be here. Thank you for joining us. So there's a couple things I want to get into today. One is this discussion, I don't want to say debate, but this, I think blown out of proportion, misrepresented, interpretation of Trump's comments and how they pertain to a peaceful transfer of power. Trump has been asked about this on a couple of occasions. Trump has been asked if he can commit to a peaceful transfer of power if he is elected, if or even when he is defeated in November after we count all the ballots. How do we know the election is over? How do we know all the ballots will be counted? I'll tell you how the media and the Democrats want you to think about this. All the ballots in November will have been counted in the minds and the thought process of the media and the Democrats when there are enough ballots to declare Joe Biden the president. If it appears that Biden has enough votes on election night, we will find that they will tell us the election is over. Election night, if it's found out that Biden has a big deficit from votes that were cast on election day, we will be told that this is an ongoing process, that people have voted by mail in just ways we've never seen before. Ballots will be counted in some instances. I've seen 9 days. I forget which state this was. In fact, maybe Pedals, I'll talk with Pedals about maybe putting together an infographic showing the states and some of the rulings regarding the states and how many days they are allowing ballots to be counted after the election. I've seen 3 days in one. I think I've seen up to 9 days. So these judges are just unilaterally saying that votes need to be counted. These mail-in ballots need to be counted up to X number of days past election day. It's as though there's no rules, no holds barred rules. Now the only rules apply to Trump. Trump, as Hillary pointed out last month, can't really or shouldn't have teams of attorneys challenging ballots that come in, mail-in ballots, as they did in Michigan. Can't do that. That's considered a threat to our election. Instead, we just have to let these ballots come in through the mail. Maybe somebody, again, drives past the courthouse in your local community and just yells out the window, "I voted for Biden." One vote for Biden. Someone out there in the courthouse lawn tallying those up. Maybe someone sits in the local coffee shop taking informal polling there, and they tally up votes, and they can add those to the tallies as well. Ballots coming in days, perhaps now even weeks. Who knows? Perhaps even months after the fact. This, by the way, illustrates one of the reasons, just one of the reasons that President Trump needs to fill that seat, and it appears that he is poised to do that. More importantly, we know that he's committed to doing this, but more importantly, it appears that the Republicans in the Senate may be poised to do this. Trump will be making his announcement tomorrow from the White House regarding his Supreme Court pick. Many expect this to be Amy Coney Barrett, although there is no guarantee of that. It's down to a couple of folks. We do know it will be his nomination will be a female. He's made that clear, and that nomination will come tomorrow. And then we'll begin the process of whatever that looks like. Some saying that it's going to leave committee and go to the floor of the U.S. Senate for a confirmation vote. We will see how that plays out. But anyway, I want to go back to this peaceful transfer of power. You know, it's remarkable to me. It really is. I think back, and I know that you pay attention. You are independently thoughtful. You think about things. You look back and you think about 2016, and you remember, as do I, President Trump on that debate stage. Remember whenever he was asked, along with the other, however many it was at the time, all the candidates on stage, I don't know if there were 17 or 12 at this particular point in time, but they asked the question, who here can commit to supporting the Republican nominee for president, even if it's not you? And all the hands on the stage shoot up in the air except for one. Who's the one that didn't raise his hand? It was Donald J. Trump, and he kind of makes his face, like, I can't do that. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what these jokers are going to say. I don't know how this campaign's going to go. I'm not going to commit to that. I'm here to win this thing. People were appalled by this. What's funny is Kasich was on that stage. John Kasich, who thought he was a Republican in 2016. Now he's found that he really has a home in the Democrat Party, supporting Joe Biden for president. John Kasich, who was running in fourth. This is remarkable to me. In 2016, after Cruz and Rubio dropped out, it was down to Trump and Kasich in the primary process. After the Indiana primary, actually, Kasich stayed in the race. And I remember at the time pointing out that Kasich was running in fourth out of only two candidates. I'm not sure how you even do that. Kasich's team, his math skills alone show that he belongs in the Democrat Party. Now, take it easy, Democrats. I'm just playing. But I am pointing out that socialists don't have the slightest idea about math or economics. So Kasich has found a home in the Democrat Party, which he's been a Democrat all along. But even Kasich raised his hand back then. He raised his hand and said, hey, I'll support the Republican nominee. Now, I don't even know, thinking about this, did he? Did he vote for Trump? I don't know that he voted for Trump. Oz, is there a way to look that up? See if you can find if Kasich voted for Trump in 2016, if he's announced that. He's announced he's not doing that in 2020. See, that seems more of a story to me than Trump not raising his hand. I know it's not the way that it typically goes. But folks, the way that it typically goes in politics is we have a bunch of people who play this game where they want to look as though they're doing the right thing, and in reality, they're really not. I am telling you, you know that I'm a Christian, those of you that listen to this program. I had a friend that forwarded me, or that shared that he had been reading Matthew chapter 23, which is Jesus talking to the Pharisees and religious leaders at the time. And it's what he says, what Jesus says to the Pharisees, I believe is what we're dealing with our politicians. And I'll go across party lines, and I don't mean to include everybody, but it is rampantly a problem in politics. Folks are more concerned about looking like they're doing the right thing. Folks are more concerned as though they are, saying it the right way, expressing the appropriate amount of whatever it is, whatever the media expects, whatever the DC bubble expects, whatever the Democrat political leaders expect, the appropriate. He wrote in McCain. I just held up a pad of paper that told me Kasich voted for McCain, wrote in McCain in 2016. He's the one on stage. I know I'm going back here, but hold on with me. Hang in there with me. He raises his hand on the stage in 2016, committing to vote for the Republican nominee. Doesn't do it. No consequence for that. But see, in that moment, it feels so good. He raises his hand. Why didn't Trump raise his hand? Trump didn't raise his hand because he said, I don't know what's going to happen. Actually, Kasich, in hindsight, to be consistent, should have said exactly what Trump said. I don't know if there were any folks. I don't know if Carly Fiorina ended up voting for Trump. I know she's got some problems with him. I don't remember who else was on that stage at the time. But I bring that up because Trump, when he's asked about these things pertaining to an upcoming election, and like he was here, and I'll play this soundbite of him speaking about this peaceful transfer of power. I'm just telling you, the way Trump approaches this is, don't be asking me what's going to happen if I lose. Because, folks, we'll see what happens. If I lose and I find out that they have engaged in voter fraud, the Democrats, have engaged in voter fraud, which there's evidence. It boggles my mind how anyone with any degree of intellectual integrity cannot see that mail-in ballots do not open up the chance for voter fraud, especially when there are multiple days that are tacked on to the end of the election. Meaning election day is November 3rd. Now we can get ballots in some states all the way up to November 12th. Why? Why can we do that? I'll tell you why we can do that, because they're making every excuse possible for these absentee ballots so that they can use that to their advantage. It just opens up the possibility for all sorts of things. I mean, we've seen postal workers dumping Republican postcards of candidates in the dumpster. There's footage of this, right? So what makes us think that I'm not saying that every vote that comes through the mail is fraudulent. Of course I'm not saying that. I'm just simply saying anytime you allow for a way for someone to vote, there is the potential of fraud, and you have to lock that down. Acting like there's no fraud in the mail is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. It denies everything we know about human nature. It denies everything we know about, just from common sense, from personal experience. It doesn't mean that all votes that come through the mail are fraudulent or bad. It just means that, hey, there are problems with this, especially when you're allowing ballots to be counted days, weeks, who knows how far into the future. So Trump says, that's one of the reasons why we need a Supreme Court justice, because this thing's going to have to be more than likely dealt with, quite possibly. I don't know if I'm going to say more than likely yet. It's definitely possible that this has to go through the legal system. So if this ends up at the Supreme Court, we do not want a 4-4 vote. So I'm going to nominate someone, and then we'll have a 5-4 vote, or whatever the case may be, number one. Number two, Trump says effectively with his comments here, and we'll play him after the break, where he, as the media says, won't commit to a peaceful transfer of power if he loses. Trump, again, like he was on that debate stage back in 2016, when he didn't raise his hand and say that he would support his Republican colleagues on stage, he wouldn't commit to that. It's the same thing now. He's just saying, look, I'm not going to postulate or speculate about some loss. Transfer of power means that I've lost. And the third thing is, the Democrats have told us for 4 years now that Trump stole the election. They have constantly, incessantly, preached about this. The only reason Trump is president is because he stole the election from Hillary using the help of Vladimir Putin, taking advantages of social media platforms like Facebook or Twitter, or even stinking Pokemon Go. Told you that I see folks playing Pokemon Go sometimes when I'm running at the park. I'm so tempted as I run through that I say, who here was tricked into voting for Trump in 2016 when you were on Pokemon Go? Let's see a show of hands. So stupid. We've been told for 4 years how Trump stole the election, how our election integrity was not up to par. Now Trump's being criticized. Trump's the risk here, because Trump's saying, look, we're going to have to see how this thing plays out, because I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be massive voter fraud. I know that the Democrats would happily do it if they knew that there's a way. And again, talking about the leadership, not rank and file, not your neighbor. Talking about the Nancy Pelosi's of the world, the Chuck Schumers of this world, the ones who are out there saying that if Trump appoints and the Senate actually confirms a Supreme Court justice, that anything is on the table. That crowd, right? Those folks, Trump says, turns out I don't trust them. Well, can you blame him? He's been the target of incessant hatred, out of control hatred for 4 years. The media constantly, the fake news, as he said, fake news. Turn your cameras around and show the people behind you fake news. They won't do it. Look at these bunch of jokers, Trump says. Very, very deceitful group. He's had to deal with these folks for 4 years. He's seen degrees of ugly in the media that the average person cannot even begin to comprehend. And from his political opponents. And he knows who he's dealing with, and he knows that they will do anything, and mark my words, underline the word, italicize the word, anything to win this. As I've said before, and I'll say again, to the radical, godless wing of the Democrat Party, the radical left. It's not all Democrats, but there is a portion of this party that is completely atheistic, godless. Government is their God. They are not about to let someone come in and have a second term and further undo their holy priesthood, which is how they view this. I am telling you, I've had liberals write me and tell me that government is the closest thing to their religion. I've straight up had that happen. And this isn't all of them, but this is a chunk of them, a bigger chunk than I think an average person who doesn't live in some of these radical places might realize. Some of these places are completely and utterly completely corrupted. I mean, short of, major changes like spiritual revival, there are places that I think have become completely corrupted in their way of thinking. Places like Portland and Seattle, San Francisco. We got to stop this nonsense from spreading. Anyway, long in this segment, Oz has been trying to get me to stop, and she's right. Just want to set this up to play this soundbite and to talk in correct context here. Trump's not threatening to hunker down in the White House. Trump is basically saying, I'm not going to capitulate here and take away any option because I don't know what my political opponents are prepared to do. In my estimation, they are prepared to do whatever it takes, as long as it takes them, so far as it takes me out of the White House. Trump would say, I've got to take a break. Sit tight, be back here in just a minute.
Listen to Todd's show on your way to work, but want to hear more? Don't miss a beat. Visit toddhuffshow.com/listen to catch the program anytime, anywhere.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $200 back at $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freege, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freege, Freije, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freege, owner and lead auctioneer at Freege & Freege Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
We all know having health insurance doesn't always equal health care. That's why at Freedom HealthWorks, we believe the key to maintaining good health is based on a straightforward, personal relationship with your physician. With our direct doctor-patient relationship model, we remove your healthcare middleman and replace him with transparent pricing and incentive to call your doctor at the first sign of illness. So if you're ready to experience real care from a doctor that really cares about you, go to freedomhealthworks.com and learn more about the benefits of our direct primary care model. Freedom HealthWorks. Be treated better.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
Geothermal tax credits are back, making this the perfect time to install a new Climate Master geothermal system. Take advantage of this limited time 26% tax credit and begin cutting your heating and cooling bills immediately. Visit indianageothermal.com/info to get your free Climate Master information kit or call 317-829-1490. Visit indianageothermal.com/info or call 317-829-1490. Geothermal, it's cheaper than you think.
Business leaders, are your employees satisfied with their jobs? Do they enjoy coming to work and feel valued? Workforce Chaplains can help. Locally owned, we work with organizations to provide holistic care to their employees. I'm Marcus Schrader, President of Workforce Chaplains, and we offer your team a 24/7 support system that positively affects your company's culture and productivity. With our personalized pricing and diverse support system, we handle the issues that you wish you had time for. To learn more, visit us at workforcechaplains.com.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. That's 800-764-9168.
Welcome back. I want to play this soundbite in question. I think this has come up a couple of times in press briefings and that sort of thing. President Trump being asked about committing to a peaceful transfer of power. This is the latest thing. The media wants you to think that President Trump is saying, no, I know I'm going to lose in November. I'm going to barricade myself in the White House and you can't come get me. I'm not going to leave here unless you deploy the National Guard. This is what they want you to think President Trump is getting at. President Trump, look, by now, people by now should understand President Trump. I mean, not completely. You never know anyone completely and totally, but we need to understand. People should understand by now he's not going to agree with the media at all, ever, if it makes him, if it shows that he's, capitulating, or, if they say President Trump, you are not going to win the election. If that's the question he hears coming out, he's not going to agree with that ever. Because if Trump was sure I would go to have a peaceful transfer of power, then the headline would be something like, President Trump expects to lose White House, promises that transfer of power will be peaceful. That would be the headline. So Trump says, forget that. I'm not saying that. We'll see what happens. We'll see how many votes they try to cram in through the vote-in system. We'll see how many of those withstand scrutiny. We'll see how many of those signatures match. We'll see how many of those really meet the deadlines that are actually tabulated based upon the rules. That's what Trump's getting at here. Here's the back and forth. I want you to listen to this.
Right here? Mr. President, real quickly, win, lose, or draw in this election, will you commit here today for a peaceful transferal of power after the election? And there has been rioting in Louisville. There's been rioting in many cities across this country, red and your so-called red and blue states. Will you commit to making sure that there is a peaceful transferal of power after the election?
Okay, pause, first of all. What kind of a question is this? win, lose, or draw, will you commit to making sure that there's a peaceful transferal of power after the election? Win, lose, or draw. What does that even mean? Win, lose, or draw. If he wins, I hate to be the bearer of the bad news to the media. If Trump wins, there will be no transferal of power, Mr. Journalist here. There will be no transferal of power. Draw. What the heck does that mean? Draw. Will you That's what they want. Actually, his question exposes what he wants. We want you to leave the White House even if you win, even if you lose, even if it's a draw. Folks, if it's a draw, what does that even mean? If it's a true draw, if it's 269 to 269 in the Electoral College, which there are a couple of ways, one or two ways I think that could happen. If that turns out to be the case and it's a draw, does Biden by default get this? Is this written somewhere? Has somebody in Congress passed a piece of legislation that says in the event of an electoral college tie, a draw, the Democrat wins the election? It wouldn't surprise me. It's probably a piece of legislation that Ro Khanna is preparing right now. Maybe Nancy Pelosi herself, Chuck Schumer. Would not surprise me. It's the way these folks think. Win, lose, or draw. First of all, the only way that you will transfer power in this election to Joe Biden is if you lose. What is this win, lose, or draw stuff? It's stupid. Stupid question to begin with. He's trying to. It just shows you how pathetic the premise is. But he's trying to basically say, no matter what happens, can you promise there will be peace? Well, Trump's not the one rioting in the streets. And that's another thing he brings up here. What does Trump have to do with the riots in the streets? You know what? If you're blaming Trump for the riots in the streets, you're condoning the behavior of those who are actually rioting. Say that again because that's true. If you're blaming Trump for the riots in the streets, you're actually condoning the behavior of those who are actually rioting. Because newsflash to the media, newsflash to the radical left, newsflash to the Democrat Party and their leaders, the people responsible for rioting in the streets are the rioters. It's the rebel rousers. It's the folks who are stirring the metaphorical pot here. That's who responsible. Well, Trump's not responsible for that. Folks, I was talking about this the other day, and I don't know if some folks don't know this, just forget, because in politics, we have been inundated. We have been inundated with negative news and stories about Trump, but you know that there were riots on Inauguration Day. The guy hadn't even before he officially had power, there were riots on Inauguration Day in D.C. I remember watching windows at Starbucks, I think, get busted out by these idiot Antifa members. Was that Trump's fault? What did he possibly do up until that point to justify that response? Nothing. This is an idiotic question. It's a two-part question anyway. There's a part of the question that says transfer of power to Biden. Will you do that, win, lose, or draw, which is idiotic. The other part of this stupid question is, what about riots? I guess is he asking Trump, can you commit to promise that there won't be any riots? Let me tell you this. I was talking about this the other day too. If Trump wins, we all better prepare for riots in the streets. If Trump wins, this is what they're going to do. Folks, in 2016, when they were more emotional, they were more saddened by this. Now they have 4 years of anger that's built up. You saw what happened when Trump stood out there. He and Melania beside the casket of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, getting booed by the crowd, people chanting, vote him out. It looked like a Biden rally out there, people waiting to, they were paying their respects. There were about 14 people out there. It looked very much like a Biden rally to me. Vote him out. As he was standing there paying respects. They don't even want him paying respects to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. That's Trump's fault too. See, again, in my world, in the world of logic and sanity, that is the fault of the people chanting it. No one made them behave like that. But see, that's what we're doing. We're condoning this stuff. Trump is so bad that he is forcing people's emotions to a boiling point. That's the premise of these idiotic questions. This is not real. This question is stupid. But Trump answers it, and we'll play it after the break. Quick timeout. You're listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Is it possible to be a fan of the show if you don't have the gear to prove it? Why not be safe and remove all doubt? Shop for official merchandise at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
Would you like to save 20% or more on your insurance? Let AIA and Avon do a free comparison for you. As an independent agent, we can find savings that fit your needs and budget. We work for you, not the insurance companies. Whether your insurance need is big or small, give AIA a call, 317-718-1747, or find out what we can do for you at AIA4lowrates.com.
Hey Indianapolis, by now you've probably heard about Jody Dowdle with Midwest Tax Group. Jody and his team are experts at helping you prepare your personal or small business tax returns. You can count on Midwest Tax Group to get every deduction possible and work for your higher refund. And not just on this year's taxes, they'll check your prior returns for any tax savings you may have missed for free. Are you behind on filing your returns? They can file past due returns and help negotiate with the IRS too. They complete most tax returns within a week and charge an affordable flat fee, no hourly billing. And as their client, you can consult with the team at Midwest Tax Group year-round at no charge. Midwest Tax Group has 4 office locations in Castleton, Greenwood, Plainfield, and Greenfield, with evening and weekend appointments available. Schedule your appointment today at 317-288-5260. That's 317-288-5260. Or visit their website at mwtaxgroup.com. Midwest Tax Group can help you more than any piece of software ever could.
All your life, you've planned and taken care of the people you love. They always knew you had a plan. Taking care of your final wishes will give them one final gift. Buying your headstones direct through Thomas Monument saves your loved ones additional stress during a difficult time and saves money by cutting out the middleman. Call 317-244-6525 or go online to thomasmonument.com to understand why families have trusted us since 1962.
The printing industry has changed a lot since we opened for business in 1931, but what our clients expect from us really hasn't changed. Quality print, fast turnaround, and competitive prices. We've learned a lot at Moeller Printing over 86 years and 3 generations. Why not put that experience to work for you? Call 317-353-2224 and mention discount code RADIO to receive 10% off your first order. Call Moeller Printing at 317-353-2224.
Our word can't be diluted because we are taught that a promise is a commitment in which you always follow through. No ifs, ands, or buts. So every time you walk through Greg Hubler Chevrolet doors, you can count on the advice and expertise we provide you. Because when we make a promise, we keep it. Greg Hubler Chevrolet. Promise kept. Visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
Anxiety, depression, relationship problems, past trauma. Problems rarely get better when given time. Care to Change Counseling can help. Our professionals combined evidence-based care models with scripture to get you on the path to a productive life. We are here to help you make the changes you need for a healthier, happier you. Take that brave step today. Call Care to Change at 317-790-9396 or visit caretochange.org.
Hi, this is Caleb with Gluff Plumbing. Does your home need some plumbing updates? Gluff Plumbing is your solution. We specialize in updating old plumbing, everything from water heaters to well pumps, to underground leaks and everything that has to do with water entering and leaving the home, including water and sewer main excavations. We pride ourselves on old-fashioned customer service. Call Gluff Plumbing at 765-721-6789 or visit gluffplumbing.com. That's GLUFF plumbing.com. Call us today.
back. Okay, so actually I'm going to play this again, back from the beginning, so you can hear the whole stupid question again. Stupid, idiotic question here being asked to President Trump. Win, lose, or draw, are you going to commit to a peaceful transfer of power? And okay, and by the way, can you promise us that rioters won't take to the streets? Folks, I can almost promise you rioters will take to the streets if Trump wins. I don't know how this is even debatable, but let's listen to the question again, and this time I'll play Trump's full response. Here you go.
Right here, Mr. President, real quickly, win, lose, or draw in this election, will you commit here today for a peaceful transferal of power after the election? There has been rioting in Louisville. There's been rioting in many cities across this country, red and your so-called red and blue states. Will you commit to making sure that there is a peaceful transferal of power after the election?
Well, we're going to have to see what happens. You know that I've been complaining very strongly about the ballots, and the ballots are a disaster.
I understand that, but people are rioting. Do you commit to making sure that there's a peaceful transferal of power?
We want to get rid of the ballots, and you'll have a we'll have a very peaceful. There won't be a transfer, frankly. There'll be a continuation. The ballots are out of control. You know it. And you know who knows it better than anybody else? The Democrats know it better than anybody else. Go ahead.
Mr. President, the second question is, will you...
Please, go ahead.
Okay, so there you go. There's the answer, and that now becomes the headline. Trump will not commit to a peaceful transfer of power if he loses. So then journalists go up to people, so-called journalists. There aren't journalists in America today. A handful, as Trump says, fake news. There's all fake news. There's a couple of good ones out there. But most of these folks are fake news journalists, fake news Jim Acosta, fake news CNN, fake news MSNBC. There's not a lot of journalists out there. This is, wow, this is a question. This question that they just asked. Are you going to commit to there's rioting. He said some. Did he say some? Or I didn't catch that the first time because he mumbles that part. The journalist says there's a little rioting out there, a little or some. What do you mean a little rioting? There's cities that are burning to the ground. There are cities that are taken over by occupiers. The resistance. We had a nation, an independent nation at Chaz, which lasted like 300 hours or some such thing. They let the left has let their cities completely go into the hands of the anarchists without even putting up much of a fight, without even sending in some cases, law enforcement. You're on your own in these places. It's effectively no-go zones. Expedia or one of these travel sites, actually you could put into the search engine, I want to take a vacation to the People's Republic of Chaz or whatever it was. I don't know if it was Expedia. It was one of those Travelocity. I don't know who it was. You could put in Chaz or Chop or whatever the stupid name was. So now the headline is, they go to Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell, do you think President Trump won't commit to a peaceful transfer of power? So McConnell comes on and says, well, this country's built upon a history of peaceful transfers of power, and we'll commit to that. But Trump says, forget that. I'm not saying that because that assumes I lose, even though the reporter doesn't seem to answer or understand that. Win, lose, or draw, as Oz is pitching a fit over here in the background. Win, lose, or draw, will you promise a peaceful transfer of power? What does that even mean? Win means there is no transfer of power. Lose means that there is. Draw, I guess they think, goes to the Democrat. That's my guess. That draw means Biden wins, right? I remember when I went to FCA football camp, and don't take this too literally. This just came to me as I said this, but they did a skit. The people that run the camp, and there was a skit where they had the proverbial, the individual that was trying to make a decision between something that was right and wrong, and there was the devil voice and the angel voice or whatever, like the two on each shoulder sort of thing. And the young man said, you know what, I'm just going to sit here on the fence because I don't know what I want to do. And the devil or whatever, the little, the one representing evil, said that's fine because I own the fence. It appears like, and I'm not saying Biden's the devil, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Some of the policies of the radical left, make no mistake, are from the pits of hell, folks. I mean, some of these things, when you look at abortion policies, but I'm not saying that about him. I'm simply saying they're claiming the fence. That's fine. We own the fence. So I guess lose or draw, President Trump has to pass transfer or to transfer power over to Joe Biden. That's what this journalist thinks. And now everybody's being asked about this. And all the people being asked, you have to now put on, remember earlier in the program we talked about, you have to behave a certain way. Now everybody has to say, we got to commit to a peaceful transfer of power. Why are we talking about peaceful transfer of power here? Haven't even had an election yet. That's what I would say. Look, what are we transferring? I know that the media and the Democrats want you to think it's a foregone conclusion that Trump is going to lose and Biden is going to win, but we have an election. Who's out here trying to make conversation about transferring power when the American people haven't even had their say yet? Who's trying to silence the people at this point? Who's trying to persuade the way of thinking? Who's trying to set forth an agenda that wants us to talk about a transfer of power here? We don't know that. We don't know that. And by the way, don't give me this malarkey about President Trump undermining the integrity of our elections when that's all that the left has been engaged in for the past 4 years. Trump-Russian collusion, Ukrainian collusion, impeachment this, stop the president at all costs for that. He can't exercise his constitutional authority when nominating a Supreme Court justice. Now they're talking about political retribution for Congress and the president, for the Senate and the president actually committing to nominate and confirm a Supreme Court justice. Political retribution. Media? No, I mean, what about a question for Chuck Schumer about that? Chuck Schumer, if you're the majority leader, God forbid, of the U.S. Senate, starting in January of 2021, can you commit to a peaceful transfer of power? When you have power, God forbid, as a U.S., as the Senate majority leader, will you commit to not trying to engage in political retribution against your political enemies? Can you do that? You said everything's on the table. We're talking about peaceful transfers of power. That doesn't sound very peaceful to me. When you say everything is on the table, if Republicans exercise their constitutional power in the nomination of this Supreme Court justice, can you? That seems to me to be the fairer question. You're the one that's out there saying you won't take anything off the table. That doesn't sound very peaceful and loving and inclusive to me. But then again, that's if you think about these things logically, and you have to take off your political spectacles and look at the world as though we're people, as though think not everything is for political benefit for you personally. And that's, of course, nowhere near how the media and the left look at this. Long in the segment. Got to take a time out. Listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Looking to make a conservative, not bitter fashion statement? Check out our apparel online, including brand new items at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing,
and electrical done right.
Call Mr. Quick. Call Mr. Quick. Dial the number, spell the words. For on time.
The compassion of Christ. It's living life connecting to the broken and messy world. It's not simply walking down the street and dropping a quarter in someone's bucket. It's been perverted by Satan from biblical compassion to feeling sorry for, and sympathy isn't where God wants us to live. It's connecting to broken people in our daily life. Living the compassion of Christ.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110.
Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
Our partner, Global Plasma Solutions, has published ionization testing results that demonstrate a 99.4% reduction rate on a SARS-CoV-2 COVID-19 surface strain within 30 minutes. This is the first instance that an air purification company has effectively neutralized SARS-CoV-2. Commercial Service Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is installing this solution in businesses and homes in South Central Indiana. Get your free information kit at commercialservice.com/info. Commercial Service, commercial-grade service for your home.
Are you one of the growing number of Hoosiers who are concerned about higher taxes, increased spending, and massive debt? So am I. I'm Donald Rainwater, the Libertarian candidate for governor of the state of Indiana. I believe that all Hoosier businesses provide the necessities of life to their owners and employees, and that all Hoosiers are essential. As your governor, I will safeguard your rights to life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness as defined by you, not the government. To learn more, go to rainwaterforindiana.com. We need better government, not bigger government. My name's Donald Rainwater, and I approve this message. Paid for by Rainwater for Indiana.
Indy Decorative Concrete is hiring immediately. They're looking for workers with experience finishing concrete. Pay is $25 to $30 per hour with weekly overtime. All jobs are located within the city of Indianapolis. Call 317-784-1464 or apply in person at their offices located at 8366 Brookville Road, Indianapolis, Indiana 46239. They're open Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information, visit their website, www.indydecorativeconcrete.com. www.indydecorativeconcrete.com.
Welcome back. Not a whole lot of time here, but I do want to say a couple things. Number one, I did see Ro Khanna, radical leftist, introducing legislation in the House that would give term limits to Supreme Court justices and would guarantee each president, I think it was 2 Supreme Court justices. I don't know if it was a term or the entire presidency. I don't know. 18-year term limits. I tell you this, if they're interested in instituting term limits, why don't they look in the mirror and start with themselves? Now, I'm not necessarily a guy that's a big term limit guy. I'm not against it. Hear me out. I think that some people think that solves the problem. Term limits fixes it. The heck it does. Look at who replaces these people. They hand select, in many cases, their predecessors. The only real solution, and I'm not against term limits. I'm against the notion that thinks term limits for congressmen and senators is going to fix it, and then we can go back to our business and ignore it again. The problem in the House and the Senate and our government. No, that is emphatically no. That can't happen. Instead, if the solution is for an engaged public, an engaged group of American citizens holding their elected officials accountable. That's the solution. But Ro Khanna wants to make term limits for U.S. members of the Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court justices, I should say, introducing that, I think, maybe this week or what have you. The other thing I wanted to touch on is Tuesday, folks, is debate night. I am excited for this. Makes a late night for Toddy here, but I'll say this. Tuesday night, 9 o'clock, Trump is going to be debating Joe Biden. You see Trump the other day say that, hey, I have no reason to think Joe Biden's not going to be basically on his A game in the debate, raising that bar. I think it's brilliant, by the way. Raising the bar. No, I think Biden will be fine. The guy's going to be, of course, Trump's also made comments in the past about his inabilities to engage in these sorts of things. But yeah, set the bar high. Yeah, I mean, this guy's a formidable, he's been in, debating for 47 years. Better be ready for this guy. So that's on Tuesday. Can't wait to talk about that. Got to take a break. Sit tight. Be back here in just a minute.
Like what you hear on Todd's show? Why not get more by signing up for Todd's free Semi-Sweet Morsels of Truth newsletter? To subscribe, visit toddhuffshow.com/subscribe or text HUFF to 31996.
Seems like just yesterday that you couldn't find a quiet place to think in your home. Now all the kids have flown the nest and you find yourself wondering what to do with all of that extra space. This is Bruce of Bruce Richardson Realty. My team and I understand that life changes, and so do your home needs. So whether you're downsizing or upsizing, give us a call at 317-507-3285. Let us help you find the best fit for your residential or your commercial property needs. 317-507-3285.
Does your business have a plan for social media marketing? Are you reaching the right audiences through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the list goes on? Are you learning from the data? Jarbo can help. Our team doesn't just come in and tell you how to be successful. We help you execute and measure your sales and marketing efforts. Give us a call at 317-834-6560 or visit us online at jarbomarketing.com. That's jarbomarketing.com. Make social media work for you.
Hi, this is Caleb with Gluff Plumbing. Does your home need some plumbing updates? Gluff Plumbing is your solution. We specialize in updating old plumbing, everything from water heaters to well pumps, to underground leaks and everything that has to do with water entering and leaving the home, including water and sewer main excavations. We pride ourselves on old-fashioned customer service. Call Gluff Plumbing at 765-721-6789 or visit gluffplumbing.com. That's GLUFF plumbing.com. Call us today.
You rely on your vehicle every day. It's not a member of the family, but you spend as much time with it as most family members. You wouldn't take your family to just any doctor, so don't trust your vehicle to just any repair service. At Raymond's Auto and Truck Repair in Plainfield, we have well-trained, caring technicians that have the expertise to get you back on the road. For 25 years, we've been servicing personal, commercial, and fleet vehicles. Give us a call at 317-838-7112 for the car service you deserve.
If you own a rental property, you know the hassles of marketing, renting, collecting, and the handling of maintenance and repairs. One call to Zuluscape can put an end to your property management headaches. Zuluscape has over 20 years of experience helping landlords throughout central Indiana and taking the stress out of owning a rental. From A to Z, let Zuluscape handle it all so you can enjoy owning a rental instead of hating being a landlord. Give us a call at 317-663-8485 or visit our website at zuluscape.com.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. That's 800-764-9168.
Folks, we're just a little over 5 weeks from Election Day. In fact, if you're hearing my voice in Indiana, there's just a few days. If you're not registered to vote, you got to get registered here in the next couple of days because you're only allowed, I think it's a month, 4 weeks from Election Day. So it's obviously important. This is a critical election all the way up and down the ballot. All the way up and down the ballot, which we'll talk more about that as Election Day gets closer. But this debate next week, I'm looking forward to. Very much. We'll talk about that on Wednesday. And, of course, we'll get into, there's lots of stuff I didn't even touch today that we can get into early next week, along with whatever else happens, including Trump's nominee for the Supreme Court over the weekend. We'll talk about all of those things on Monday. Guys, I appreciate you so much for listening. Have a great weekend. We will see you Monday, SDG.
Are you concerned about your investments? Intrepid Financial has been educating, customizing, and servicing Hoosier investment portfolios since 1998. Our family-owned and operated business builds strong bonds with our clients. When you call, we answer the phone. always ready to walk you through your investment strategy. Intrepid means without fear. We want our clients to be fearless, to feel secure with their investments. Give us a call at 317-818-1776 or visit us online at intrepidfinancial.com.
Wallace Construction is a family-owned business with 45 years' experience in asphalt, concrete, and seal coating. At Wallace Construction, our wide variety of experience and top-notch customer service have helped us build a strong reputation in Central Indiana. But we don't rest on that reputation. We build it, one job at a time. If you have an upcoming project, call us at 317-422-5356. That's Wallace Construction, 317-422-5356, and ask for Richard or Roger.
As a listener of this program, I have no doubt that you embrace the value of hard work, honesty, and integrity. And when you have the opportunity to work with a company that fully embraces and shares these values, I'm sure you jump at it. Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing is just that type of company in Central Indiana. Jeff and Jod Woods have a team of professional technicians here to help tune up your furnace or install a quality new train system. And they're also here to fix those nasty plumbing problems that seem to happen at the absolute worst time. So the next time you have a plumbing, heating, or cooling need, give the good folks at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing a call. Call 317-831-5279. That's 317-831-5279. Or visit economyheatingandair.com.